Good evening and welcome to this edition of The List on UWW-TV. I'm Brooke Souls along with Liv Yost. For the next few minutes, we'll present our top 5 sports stories of the week and discuss why they made our top 5. Did your top 5 make our list? Let's find out. At number 5, Kasey Corallo has been named WIAC Player of the Year for women's basketball. Corallo led the Warhawks to a 22-6 record and a WIAC title. Corallo also led the WIAC in every statistical category and was selected for all WIAC team. This is the 4th consecutive season that a Warhawk has been named WIAC's top player. Liv, let's talk about the season Kasey Corallo had.
Yeah, Kasey Corallo obviously had an outstanding offensive season, leading her team with 47.5 field goals, 41.8 three-pointers percentage, and 84.5% from the line. She's also averaging about 9.3 rebounds per game and 123 assists on the season. So you can tell that she's giving her teammates the ball, but she's also being aggressive on offense and aggressive on defense with 66 steals to add to that. I want to talk about her offensively because she is such a powerhouse, but we're not to forget about her defense, which has been outstanding and has led the Warhawks to a 75-53 win against Principia. They obviously went the first round pretty easily. She only put up about 6 points, but then we move on to her in the next round of the postseason.
Yeah, it sounds like Kasey has had a great season, and congrats to you for Player of the Year. At number 4, the Warhawk women's basketball team are moving on to the Sweet 16. The Warhawks defeated Principia 75-53 in the first round and won the nail-biter against UW-La Crosse 54-49 in the second round. The Warhawks will take on another WIAC opponent, UW-Stout, in the Sweet 16. Liv, what stood out to you from these first 2 tournament games?
Yeah, key players for the Warhawk team was Katie Hildebrandt, Mallory Olufsen, Maggie Trouch in that first game against Principia. They scored 15, 16, 16, and allowing almost no points in consideration, in comparison to their offense. But then we go on to the La Crosse game. It's a little more difficult. You have a little bit better opponent on the other side of the ball. You see what they did. It was a really close match. They gave up about 12 turnovers, which is really hard to successfully beat a team when you're giving away the ball that much. I say to them in the next round, hold on to the ball, get that ball movement going. Good on La Crosse for playing great defense, but yeah, it led Kasey to only have 13 on that game. Katie Hildebrandt with 14, Mallory Olufsen 11. Maggie Trouch only had 5, and their other bench players only racked up less than 5. So they played great defense, but you got to kind of look at it from an outsider standpoint, just seeing that you need to hold on to that ball. You need to, keep that offense moving, keep that defense moving. They did play great defense, as you can see by the score, but their offense was not allowed to do what they normally do.
Yeah, Liv, hopefully the Warhawks can bring home a national title this season. At number 3, the Seattle Seahawks have released 10-year veteran wide receiver Tyler Lockett. Following this news, Seattle's Pro Bowl wide receiver DK Metcalf has requested a trade. A few days later, the Seahawks traded quarterback Geno Smith to the Raiders for a 2025 third-round pick. Then DK Metcalf gets traded to the Steelers for a 2025 second-round pick. The Steelers also signed Metcalf to a new contract, 3 years for $150 million. Liv, what is going on in Seattle?
As you can sort of tell, they are going through that rebuilding period. They're not looking to win a championship anytime soon. They are looking for a good enough reason to stay in the playoffs, to maybe get some young players behind their team, and now behind Sam Darnold, who just signed that 3-year, $100.5 million contract with $55 million guaranteed. You gotta kind of give props to them a little bit for clearing up that cap space where they have $67.4 million left now that DK is gone. You got to kind of look for that wide receiver room, or that one star player, that one maybe young star player from the draft or either from free agency, maybe in Stephon Diggs. We'll see. But you got to kind of look at it from that perspective, that they are cleaning up house and maybe even giving a better situation to DK, who has had a great tenure there for so long. You got to kind of look at it like maybe they're doing this for his benefit, but also sports are a business. It is a business, and you kind of got to use your money and use your resources in order to find out who fits best. You know, who is going to take you to a national championship, to that Super Bowl. So we got to look for their wide receiver room to be built. And we've got more coming up on the list, including a discussion on the NBA playoff picture and LeBron breaking more records. We'll be right back.
We'd love to show you what it's like to be a Warhawk.
Come on!
Don't miss out on your chance to be a Warhawk.
At UW Whitewater.
You belong here!
Matt checking in to see how Sam is doing on his project, and it's getting close to exporting now, the final step in the process. And it is complete, and Sam is hyped. Finally gets complete and spikes the ball into the end zone. Sam's celebrating with his colleagues, and they throw a flag on the play. The ref's going to call excessive celebration. Sam is in disbelief and can't believe it. He tries to dispute the call, but the ref is not having any of it.
She's always had it. Pure ambition. An unbridled self-confidence that most people only dream of. You see it driving her, empowering her, and in time, you see it fueling her future. Perhaps even helping her blaze a new trail. All she needs now is a way to make it happen. We are the Universities of Wisconsin. 13 universities. Unlimited opportunity.
Sports fans. We pack stadiums, arenas, and local gyms every day. And every sports fan is uniquely human. Seeing each play with your own eyes, triggering your own emotions. And as humans, we won't agree on every call, but we can act with empathy and consideration. So put yourself in the official shoes. Be more than a fan. Be officially human.
Welcome back to the list on UWWTV. Let's continue the countdown to this week's top sports stories. At number 2, the Cleveland Cavaliers are the first team to clinch a spot in the NBA playoffs. After beating the Miami Heat 112-107, Cleveland secured their third consecutive trip to the playoffs, which marks their best stretch since reaching the NBA Finals in 4 straight seasons with LeBron James at the helm. Cleveland currently holds the best record in the Eastern Conference and are looking to claim the 1 seed in the coming weeks. Brooke, who stands out to you on this Cavs team?
You know, we do have some key players on the Cavs team. We have Donovan Mitchell, who averages 24 points a game, which is tremendous for the team. There's Darius Garland, who has an average of 6.5 assists per game. Jared Allen, who averages 13 and 10. And Evan Mobley, which seems to be an underdog, but averages 18 and 9. You know, another thing to see and to recognize is Kenny Atkinson, the head coach for the Cavaliers, has done a tremendous job rebuilding the team since the Donovan Mitchell trade, while also receiving DeAndre Hunter before the trade deadline. Liv, you know, what do you think about these players and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I think it's important to look at this Cavs team for their young core, for their solid defensive identity, for the people who are, going in there, getting after it, working hard. It may not look like the best team because you don't have 5, like all-stars or even 2 all-stars. You have this team of kind of gritty players who get after it. They're looking to get into the playoffs now, which they have done. And in the beginning, they started, and now they got to look out for, the Celtics in the East.
And at our top story of the week, LeBron James has surpassed 50,000 points. James hit this mark in the Lakers' 136-115 victory over the New Orleans Pelicans. With a three-pointer in the first quarter, James became the first player ever to reach 50,000 points in a regular season and playoff games combined. Liv, how do you think this milestone adds to LeBron's legacy, and does this end the GOAT debate?
This is a huge accolade into LeBron's legacy. You can see his versatility. His resume is extensive. You might look at it and say, yes, that is the best basketball player in NBA history. But I think it's hard to end the GOAT debate when you are talking about 2 totally different eras and 2 totally different timelines of basketball being played. Obviously, we are now in the Steph Curry era where everyone's hitting threes. That wasn't really, a thing back in Jordan time. So I think it's hard to differentiate those kind of things when they're so further apart in commonalities. What do you think about this GOAT debate?
Honestly, I think that there's no comparison in the sense of, again, like you said, they played in different eras. There's a lot more sports advancements now than when Jordan was in the league. But also you have to think that LeBron has played 7 more seasons than Jordan did. Jordan only played 15 seasons while LeBron has played 22. He's getting old and he's getting up there. So I don't think it's fair to say that there's a GOAT one under the other. I think we could say maybe LeBron is a GOAT in this day and age, but I think Jordan definitely handled it and claimed that title for back then. And that will do it for this edition of The List. We'll be back next week to talk up the sports headlines. I'm Brooke Souls.
And I'm Liv Yost. See you next week for more stories on UWW TV.